This video will be a complete beginner's guide on how to use ChatGPT. I'll show you how to use all of its main features like image generation, its text writing tool called Canvas, and how to take advantage of its GPT Store. I will also show you best practices when using ChatGPT, how to talk to it effectively, some settings you'll need to know before using it, and how to stay organized when working on a project. Now head over to chatgpt.com to follow along with me. Now before we start asking ChatGPT anything, what is ChatGPT? It's basically a computer or a Google that you can talk to in plain English. If you found it frustrating on how to do something on your computer, you're in luck, because with ChatGPT, you can tell it exactly what you want it to do. So just say if you're trying to find some recipes on Google, you usually have to sift through a lot of different websites to find what you're looking for. But ChatGPT, you can actually just literally tell it, find me some recipes for dinner. And ChatGPT is able to surf the internet for you and find some good recipes for you. And after typing that in, it did give me a couple ideas here. So unstuffed shells pasta bake, and a link to it here, and it'll bring you to the website that it found it on. And then from there you can use the recipe on their website. And then also gave a couple more ideas: cheesy one pot chicken broccoli orzo, and a couple more. However, that's what it looks like if you ask ChatGPT to surf the internet for you. What you can also do is ask it and lay it out within ChatGPT itself. So let's ask it to do that. Give me the recipe for, let's use the southern fried chicken example. And now here it's laying out everything you need to make southern fried chicken. So here it's listing out the ingredients for you, and then gives you step-by-step instructions on how to make it. So marinate the chicken, prepare the coating, and what temperature for how long in the air fryer, and so on. Now what you'll also notice is these three icons down here. Now what do these actually do is attach files. So what ChatGPT can do is actually read any file that you give it, and then it can help you work with that file. So if you want ChatGPT to help you with a file that you can upload, just go ahead and click this, upload from your computer. And here I found just a little cookbook PDF. So we're going to give ChatGPT that, and it'll be able to look through this and read it. And then we can ask questions based on this document. So a quick look at what this document looks like. It's 22 pages long, and it has these recipes in it. So for this first one, classic spaghetti, and then list ingredients and how to make it. So let's tell ChatGPT that we want to make this recipe. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. I want to make the classic spaghetti, and we can ask just the test to see if it can do it. Let's ask it, what ingredients do I need? So here it is. Here are the ingredients you need to make classic spaghetti according to your uploaded recipe. So let's go ahead and just double check if ChatGPT did that correctly. And now taking a look here, it looks like ChatGPT did do it. So 500 grams. There we go. Feel free to pause the video and double check this, but it looks good to me. But let's ask ChatGPT a bit of a harder question than that. Okay, so here I've asked ChatGPT to organize all of the recipes that are in this PDF into a spreadsheet. So this is a really good example if you ever work with Excel documents or any spreadsheet work. ChatGPT can make spreadsheets for you and can also edit, like Word documents, can also edit spreadsheets. So here I've asked it to take all the recipes in this document and organize it into a spreadsheet and give me a CSV file to download. And here it gave us a link to download, and here's the spreadsheet that it created for me. So it looks like it organized it by recipe name, all the list of ingredients, time, and amount of servings. So it looks like it did put in the whole list of ingredients there. So making it a little easier to see, I've adjusted the columns, and here's all the list of the recipes as well ingredients. Now of course it won't be perfect, but it will do most of the heavy lifting for you, and you might want to fine-tune this a little bit. And this is all the ingredients that it listed out, and column for time, prep time and cook time, and amount of servings. That was just a quick little example of the type of things you can do with this file attachment here. Really the limit is almost infinite of what you can do with this. So I've had it help me edit Word documents and give me back a Word document to download. Do the same thing with spreadsheets. You can have it create that as a table. In the last file I showed you, I didn't tell it to do that, but you definitely can. A whole bunch of things you can do with it. And now moving on to the next icon here, is there's 3 options to pick from. So picture, search, and canvas. So starting off, what picture does is ChatGPT can also generate an image for you. Anything you can think of. So here I've asked ChatGPT to make a picture of a German Shepherd with a cowboy hat sitting in a candy cane forest. So you can ask it to make kind of made up fiction pictures like this, or if you wanted a super realistic picture, you can do that also. So here ChatGPT does a pretty good job. It's not perfect, so there's a little bit imperfections in the picture. So you can see this dog's ears are kind of phasing through the hat, and it's not exactly right, but overall it makes a pretty cool picture. So let's try like a more realistic one. Let's ask it to make a realistic photo of a frog. If you say make a photo of something, ChatGPT will know to automatically pick the picture option down here. So let's see how it did with the frog photo. It's a pretty good photo of a little frog here. So another cool thing with the photo, you can have it even edit a picture that you upload with this attached file. That's another cool thing you can do with this file icon here. So if say you just uploaded this frog photo to ChatGPT and you tell it add bunny ears to this frog, and this is what it came up with. With something like this, you never know quite what you're gonna get. And if you'll notice, when talking to ChatGPT, everything in this chat, ChatGPT will look back onto. So you'll never have to repeat yourself unless you create a new chat in the left here. So this is all one chat right here, and it'll know to look back on previous stuff that is in this chat. So that's how I was able to just say add bunny ears to this frog, and it knows I'm talking about this frog. I didn't have to say create a frog with bunny ears. I said add bunny ears to this frog. And now the next thing in this list here, is this search option. So search find on the web. This is good to use when you want very current things. Otherwise, it's not necessary to use it. But if you wanted to know who just won a football game or something yesterday, ChatGPT won't know that. So here I asked it how up to date you are, and it told me it knows everything that's on the internet up to October of 2023. And right now, as I'm recording, it is January of 2025. So maybe a little more than a year behind. But that is where this search feature comes in. So we can ask it to search the web and have it search the web for us. So here we can ask it who won the Vikings and Lions football game yesterday. And since that is something super current, that would be a good way to use it. And here it's telling me the Detroit Lions defeated the Minnesota Vikings and a score on January 5th, 2025. And with using the free plan, there is limits on how much you can use ChatGPT. So here it's telling me I've hit the limit for ChatGPT 4.0. And this is like you can think of this as the slightly smarter computer. But you can use their other model or their other computer as many times as you want. And that one is called 4.0 Mini. So at first you'll have a little bit smarter computer you can use, the 4.0. And eventually you'll hit the limit if you use it enough. And it does automatically reset, and it'll tell you when it will. But for the 4.0 Mini, you can use this as much as you want. I personally like it a lot better than just using Google, because it'll just tell you the answer and lay it out nicely like this. Whereas if you use Google, a lot of the times you'll have to sift through a bunch of websites. And when it does search it for you, it does give you a link to the website it found the information on. So here it's telling me it got that information from the Associated Press. So if we ever wanted to, we can click on this and go directly to the website. And here's the article on it. So the Lions beat Vikings 31-9. But if you end up really liking this search tool, there is a way you can replace Google as your default search engine in your browser. So if you normally Google something using the top address bar, instead of your web browser using Google to do that search, it can use ChatGPT. I'll show you on how to do that a little later, but first I'll show you this third final option on the list is Canvas. So if you do a lot of writing, this is a really powerful tool you can use. So here I've asked it to write a 5-paragraph essay on The Great Gatsby. So let's see what it does. So you just saw there it opened it into the Canvas feature. And what Canvas is a really nice way to interact with any text that you put into it. So here I can delete and type anything I want. I won't go super in depth on how to use Canvas, since this tool in itself could be a super long video, but just a quick overview of it. You do have these options in the bottom right that you can add more emojis to your text if you wanted. Add final polish, so it'll kind of clean up your whole essay for you. Adjust the reading level, adjust the length so you can make it shorter or longer, and suggest any edits. So let's try this one, suggest edits, and then let's see what it does. So what ChatGPT is doing is reading through your documents and telling you some improvements you can make on it. So for the first one, so that this text reads, set in the fictional town of West Egg and East Egg on Long Island, the novel delves into the lives of the wealthy elite and their moral decay beneath the surface. And ChatGPT suggests, consider elaborating on how the setting of West Egg and East Egg reflects the broader social divide and moral themes of the novel. So if we want to add that, it's really easy. Just click this apply button here. And ChatGPT will rewrite that for you automatically, just like that. And in this bottom left chat here, you can talk to ChatGPT just how you would on any changes you'd want it to do. So let's say add a title, and here ChatGPT added this title here: Illusion of the American Dream in the Great Gatsby. So a quick way we can edit things in here is highlight it, and then we get a couple shortcut options. So here we can ask ChatGPT just about the highlighted section here. We can also bold it, italicize it, or change the size of it. So since this is a title, let's do a bigger font. So let's do that one. And again, I won't go super in depth into how using Canvas. This feature is its whole entire video by itself. I'll leave a link in the description of an in-depth video I made about it. So if you want to learn more about that, I have a much more in-depth explanation of how to use this feature. And now I'm moving over to the icon on the far right here. This is called voice mode. So using this voice mode, you can actually talk to ChatGPT live, like a real life conversation back and forth. So let's ask it, give me your best Southern accent.
Sure thing. How can I help y'all today?
Who won the Vikings game yesterday?
The Minnesota Vikings lost to the Detroit Lions 31-9 yesterday. This win secured the NFC North title and the top seed in the NFC playoffs for the Lions.
Do you know any quick pasta recipes I can make for dinner tonight?
Absolutely. A quick and delicious option is a garlic butter pasta. Just cook your favourite pasta, then saute some garlic in butter, toss in the pasta, and sprinkle with parmesan and fresh parsley. Ready in about 15 minutes. How does that sound?
And then after, you have a little chat log of the back and forth conversation. So if you've ever used like speech to text and you think that would be something really helpful, well, this is just a way better version of it. And now, before I move on to these other features like the custom GPT Store, I'll show you how you can replace Google with ChatGPT in your search bar. So if you're used to using Google in your top search bar here, there is a way you can replace this with ChatGPT. So right now, this is Google. What is the weight of an elephant? Google will do a good job like this, but if you wanted to ask something a little harder, like find me a recipe for dinner, Google won't be able to do something like that. It will just go ahead and give you a bunch of dinner recipe websites that you'd have to sift through. But here's how you can change it. So typing up here will go directly to ChatGPT. So all you have to do is go to the top right and go down to get ChatGPT search extension. And then it will bring you to this website here. And just click add to Chrome. Add extension. And there you go. ChatGPT search has been added to Chrome. And now if we search the same thing as earlier, what is the weight of an elephant? It'll directly take you to ChatGPT, and here it automatically put it as a search or as a prompt, and maybe we'll give you a little bit more in-depth answer. So let's also try the same prompt from before. Find me some dinner recipes, and it'll take you directly to ChatGPT, where it'll search the web for you and give you a list of answers here of some ideas you can use, and a pretty long list actually. You can always go directly to the website it got that recipe from. Now that you've been walked through the icons on the bottom here and a little bit about what they can do, I'll show you the stuff off to the sides and some settings you should have before even starting to use ChatGPT. But first, let me show you the last main feature that ChatGPT gives you, and that's the ChatGPT Store. And to get there, just go to the left, go to Explore GPTs. And now what this is, you can think of this as a specialized ChatGPT as before. But all of these are ChatGPT, whereas the ChatGPT we were using earlier is more of a just general chat bot or AI, whereas these are designed to do one specific task. So using these will give you a lot better answers and be a little bit more useful. So there's a lot in here that help you with writing essays or emails, or if you ever need to do some research for the essay you're doing. This one right here is really good, Scholar GPT, and it'll go through research papers for you to find really good sources for the paper that you're writing. Here they even have some for Excel. So I was talking earlier in the video how you can have it create Excel CSV files for you. This GPT right here is entirely designed to help you with Excel files. You have to take a look through here. There's a lots of cool different ones. And before messaging ChatGPT, there are a couple settings that you should change. So if you go to the top right here and then go to settings, this is the list of settings for ChatGPT. There are really two main things you need to change. So if you go to personalization, you have custom instructions and memory. So for memory, as you talk to ChatGPT, it will kind of remember things about you. So I asked it earlier about the Minnesota Vikings. So it might remember that I like the Minnesota Vikings and use that in all future conversations with it. So it can make talking with it a little easier. And if you ever want to, you can turn that off here. And then if you go into manage, here it'll list things that are remembered about you. And you can always clear memories here. And next is custom instructions. And this is really cool. If to tailor ChatGPT's responses to being as useful as possible. So what would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? So going back to the recipe example I was going to earlier, let's say if you're gluten and dairy free, right? So we can tell ChatGPT to do that. I can't eat gluten and dairy. So let's save that and watch how ChatGPT's response will be a little different to the same question we asked earlier. Now let's try that same prompt from earlier. Give me some pasta recipes for dinner. And without me even mentioning to give me gluten-free and dairy-free pasta recipes, because of that of what we put in the settings earlier, it knows to do that automatically. So here I just said to give me pasta recipes, but because of that setting it knows about me, it says here are a few gluten-free and dairy-free pasta recipes you can try for dinner. So here it gives me some gluten-free options and dairy-free options I can make. And besides that, there are two last things I want to cover. And if you go up to the top here where it says ChatGPT, go to this drop-down menu, and there's this temporary chat you can use. So if you toggle that on, it says this is a chat that won't appear in history, use or create memories, or be used to train our models. So for safety purposes, we may keep a copy for up to 30 days. So when using this, it won't save the chats to the side here, or like in those settings before, it won't use or create memories. So that's the thing in the settings where as you talk to it, it'll automatically kind of just remember things about you. So when I asked about Minnesota Vikings, it wouldn't then remember that I like the Minnesota Vikings. And then to the left are all of your chats that you have made. And if you go to hover over one of them, you'll see these three dots. You click on it. You can share your chat with a friend through a link. So you could text message somebody this or email it. Another thing you can do is rename this. So if you didn't like the name it gave it, you can rename it to anything you want. So let's call it Dinner Ideas. And then it's renamed. And the last thing you can do is archive it. And what this will do is kind of just store it for later. So now it says you can view archived chats in settings. So let's go back to our settings. To click on the top right, go to settings, and then we can find that archived chat in general, and then the fourth one down, archived chats, and click on manage, and here is our chat here. So think of archive as storing it later in like a filing cabinet, something like that. And then if you want it to be, and if you ever want to unarchive something, you can go to this little icon here. It says unarchive conversation, or you can just delete it. But let's unarchive it. Click that little icon, and let's get out of our settings, and it's back over here in the dinner ideas. And then last thing you do in the list is just simply delete it. And there it disappeared. And if you ever want to delete all of these, you can go back over to the settings, and in general, go down to delete all chats. And then you can click delete all, confirm deletion, and then getting back out of the settings, all of our chats are gone here.